Hey everybody, David from the RDA here, today to teach you a tutorial going over a specific technique meant for Meteor dart. The technique I'll be going over today is a unison split time toss. If you haven't seen it already, here's how it looks. Now, hopefully, if you are interested in this tutorial, that you do have the correct equipment. Your heads have to freely spin independently on their own. If they do not freely spin on a chain on their own, they will get tangled. First things first, I like to grip my head very close to where the unison is happening. I can't really get a good momentum from or control of the heads from somewhere on the rope. I usually try and tend to grab it very close to where I need the source to be at. Now, the first thing I usually used that I practiced was trying to isolate the first head on its own. Getting the feeling and the weight of how one head is going to start spinning on its own using a cranking motion, kind of like if you were stirring a pot. Getting that head to kind of spin on its own. You're going from bigger circles to smaller circles to create that single spinning head. Now, if you tried this and gave it a bit of momentum, they will catch each other and spin in unison. We're going to take this same idea and put it and adapt it to our wall plane. Or you could also do it right in front of you, whichever you feel most comfortable with. But using that same grip right at the heads, almost at that unison head, I'm going to go from big circles to small circles, and then let that head carry the weight over big circles to little, and that once that first head starts to kind of carry on its own, that second one will directly follow after. Let's try me again. Big circles to small circles, and then letting that head follow through. Once the weight of the heads start to balance each other out, you're going to start to adapt a movement with the rope with it. I would suggest trying practicing to both sides, spinning the heads to both sides. In other words, spinning it one direction this way, and then also split timing this way. Standing still and practicing on its own while it's unison spinning is going to be a tad bit difficult, and it's going to take some practice. Using that motion, like how I said, from big circles to small, and letting that first head carry the weight over, and then letting them spin will cause the unison head movement. Next step, after you've practiced this on your own, and getting them to spin separately at the same time, trying to handle the rope as it's spinning. So, get the heads to split time, and then let go of some slack on your head. Once you've achieved this motion and gotten it down, you can start letting some slack go and creating a different aesthetic. The third step would be getting the cranking motion, the slacking of the line, and the throw all done at once. You start big circles to small to toss. Usually getting some good momentum every time you wanted to create a good toss to have those heads spin a little bit faster than what they're supposed to. Again, big circles to small to toss. The heads will usually tend to find in their own space, spinning on their own. But that first cranking motion is if you're starting or churning butter or turning a steering wheel, kind of, however you want to picture it, this bigger circle to small will cause the heads to start to separate. Once those separations starts to happen, let them spin in place. Without giving it an extra cranking motion, all you're doing is just holding it in place as they spin on own. Once you've adapted all three parts, you can start playing with the string or your rope a little bit more and creating a different aesthetic every time you start to move the dart around you. Like how I said, if you're practicing it from one end, try practicing it to your other. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you found it very helpful. Much love and dart life.